Welcome to the Cast Off. This is the #1 recasting show on the internet because it's the only recasting show on the internet, and this is where two contestants compete by recasting your favorite actors in movies you love. I'm your host, Craig Price, and tonight we're either bringing a family together or we're splitting two brothers apart. In one corner, we have the seasoned veteran Tracy Mangum, and in the other, new to the show, is his brother Troy. Now let's get to the Mangum family, and we flip the coin. Tracy's going to go first.
Yeah.
Tracy.
Yeah, as it should be.
As it should be. Tracy. Welcome to the show. You did not like the movie we're about to talk about.
It wasn't my favorite film. It felt very 90s.
Which is 1999, yes.
Yeah. But it felt every bit of it. Didn't think the script was that great, but there's some fun performances. So I'm excited to get into it tonight, see what Troy came up with. He's got a good head on his shoulders, so this will be fun.
Well, it's still technically June, so before we move on to Troy, I do want to thank you for being on our Lord of the Rings special. You were on Return of the King and our recasting special. You guys over there at Movies That Make Us killed it, and Alan and I have undying gratitude, so thank you so much for making June such an awesome month.
Thanks for inviting us. All 3 episodes turned out great. Very happy to be a part of it.
All 4 episodes, because that's
4. Excuse me,
let's
because
forget,
there was a recasting.
Let's
Yes.
forget that awfully long recasting. 110 characters we did, and only 3 repeats, and those 2 of them were us. We had two duplicates.
But we weren't 4 hours, which was nice.
No, we were buzzing through that. Thank God. Well, let's get over to Troy. Troy, we call you a civilian. You're not a podcaster. I'm not. You're not a streamer. So tell me a little about yourself. What do you do and how are you here?
Well, I'm here because Tracy was getting a little too big in his britches, kept bragging about all his wins. And I had to, as the younger brother, I have to deflate that. That is my, whole job as the younger brother.
So how much younger are you?
I am 4 years younger.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. That's good. That's
Depending
legitimate.
on where the month falls, but 3 to 4 months.
Oh, yeah.
3 to 4 years. Yeah.
So very good. So since you don't have anything to promote, what kind of psychological warfare are you going to play against Tracy? Can you tell me something that we can use against him later on?
Oh yeah. See, this tells you about Tracy as an older brother. We used to share a room, and we had bunk beds. He would be on the top bunk. I would be on the bottom bunk, unless he saw a scary movie, in which case he would sleep in the bottom bunk with me, but he would sleep by the wall. I would sleep closer to where the witches could get me and eat me, while he could make it out of bed and into my parents' room across the hall.
I'm a thinker.
That's the love and respect that my older brother had for me.
I'm a thinker.
Yeah. So it's payback. You're going down.
Well, it sounds like my family. That's great. So,
Yeah.
well, let's get on to the rules, and they're fairly simple. I'm going to show a picture of a character. You're going to give me a replacement actor. Now, we ask for a replacement actor not because we think the actor isn't very good. It's just because we love acting so much. We love actors so much. We'd love to see other people in the character. The best choice gets 1 point. I've also picked along, and I will give you guys a hint. If you guys selected anyone from Boston, you've got a good chance of getting the secret selection, because every single person I picked, except one, was born in Boston, Massachusetts. So that extra point could come save you at the end, but don't be surprised if the secret selection and the best choice are not the same. I am not the only judge, and oftentimes I have been overruled this year. There's been a lot of times when people have been just outright wrong and gone with other things than myself. Person with the most points wins, and if there's a tie, there'll be a double feature to win. We'll talk about that when and if it's necessary. As always, this show is brought to you by Matinee Heroes, and this Saturday morning, Elizabeth Rapp joins Alan and I to talk about the great neo-noir buddy movie, The Nice Guys. You can head over to matineeheroes.com/subscribe to follow the podcast, and you can also hear tonight's post exclusively on the audio version of Cast Off each Thursday. So while you're over there, if you enjoy the show, you can go to matineeheroes.com/castoff and subscribe to your favorite video feed. So we could have gone with a Civil War brother versus brother movie, but I don't like that. I want to bring families together. So let's head to Beantown and start cleaning the streets like the family we are. Are you two ready?
Let's do this.
I was born ready.
So Tracy, you go first. And what we've got is, man, we have Willem Dafoe as Paul Smecker, an FBI agent who has a different way of investigating than most people. Tracy, who do you have playing Paul Smecker, the ugliest hooker in cinema history?
That's a true statement. That is a very true statement. So for this role, I wanted somebody that would bring some of that manic energy that Willem Dafoe has, somebody who can do the intimidating look and feel to the role. I went with a younger Jack Nicholson.
And I went with the same age. He was 42 at the time when he made this. And so this is a picture of a 42-ish Easy Rider Jack Nicholson, known for, he's an impressionist gold mine. Everybody does a Jack, and it's awful. But he is an amazing actor, the most nominated male actor of all time with 12. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Terms of Endearment, As Good as It Gets, A Few Good Men, and of course Chinatown, which we're definitely going to do on Matinee Heroes at some point. So now, Troy, we're heading over to you. Who do you have?
Well, in the role for Paul Smecker, he is an oddball, but also a genius deducer. And so there was only one choice. I went with Robert Downey Jr.
You had to go with Sherlock, didn't you?
You got to go Sherlock. He went full Sherlock. He's figuring things out. Brilliant choice, if I say so myself.
Known for his small independent flicks like Iron Man, Sherlock Holmes, Avengers Endgame. But for many people like myself who are a little bit older, he'll always be that little snot-nosed guys in movies like Back to School. So
Heart and Souls.
We forget that he played like the goober, sleazy little weird nerd for like in the 80s, and then he did Chaplin and his whole life changed.
Right.
Well, I think Prison did that. But we've got Jack Nicholson, Robert Downey Jr. I went with James Spader because
that's a good one.
He's goofy and weird and from Boston. The judges conferred and they went with, you got to go with Jack, 12-time Academy Award nominee.
Boom.
Well, next is Sean Patrick Flannery as Connor, and Sean Patrick Flannery is from the Houston area and has been to Comic Palooza several times. A very sweet and nice guy. We're going to start with Troy. Troy, who do you have playing? I want to say he's the older brother, but they're not. They're twins. They're supposed to be the same age, but he is 3 years older than Norman Reedus.
Well, I mean, Connor McMahon, he's the leader. You know, whether he's older, younger, he's the leader. He's got the brains. I had to have somebody that was intelligent, but made it seem like he was a good action hero. And of course, he had to be charismatic, and he's got to have the Irish accent because he's Boston. I went with Colin Farrell.
Nice. Nice. He's Irish hunkiness. You're absolutely right. Minority Report, Saving Mr. Banks. He was very sweet as an alcoholic dad in that one, but he's been in a lot of great things. I have to ask you, of the two of you, Tracy and Troy, which one of you is the leader?
Oh, it's me. Definitely Troy.
Please.
Tracy likes to pretend he's the leader, and he leads us into danger and trouble that I then have to use my charm and wit to get out of.
Okay, all right. I can see which one's the liar of the family. Wow, even I'm not buying that.
Somebody like used to call himself Thor, but he's more Loki.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. So Tracy, who do you have playing the charismatic leader of the group?
Yeah, I also wanted somebody who would be charismatic, somebody who could kind of disappear into the role. I also went with the Irish actor. I went with, and I always say his name wrong, Cillian Murphy. And I know it's not Cillian, but it's
Killian.
How I pronounce it. Killian, thank you.
Yes.
I always forget that.
Like Celtic
Cillian
and Celtic,
Murphy.
it's Cillian.
Thank you.
But of course, he is known for the Nolan creep factor because when he's in a Nolan movie, he is creepy. He played the Scarecrow in the Batman movies. In Dunkirk, he was supposed to be a nice guy, but he ends up not. No, he's that guy who's shaking and crazy and cold, and he's got PTSD. Inception, he's weird. I think he's nice in A Quiet Place Part 2, but I haven't seen it yet. So,
yeah, he's nice in that one.
Okay, because he's usually playing some weird creep, and I feel bad for him.
It starts off that way, but it turns out that he's a good dude.
Right, because we automatically assume he's a creep. So we've got Colin Farrell. Cillian Murphy. I went with Ben Affleck. Born in Boston. Our judges conferred, and you can't get past the hunkiness of Colin Farrell. That's Cillian Murphy is creepy. I'm sorry. He's probably a really wonderful guy, but he's like Paul Dano. When you see him, you just want to punch him, and you think he's a pedophile. All right. Well, now we move on to the I guess the younger of the two. I'm going to assume that since they're fraternal twins, that Sean Patrick Flannery was born first. He was just like by minutes. But we have Norman Reedus, a very young Norman Reedus, before he was a star, playing I want to say the more naive of the two. So, Tracy, who do you have playing Murphy McManus?
So I wanted somebody that could do the naivety, but somebody that you feel like could be this rough and tough guy who would be able to do these things with his brother. I went with somebody who has done a similar role, knocked it out of the park. I went with Aaron Paul.
Absolutely. He's known for acting on TV, bitches! Woo! You got to have everything with bitches with him. Of course, Breaking Bad. And then, of course, if you've watched BoJack Horseman, he's constantly kind of a asexual, depressed character. It's very interesting how he is. He showed up in Westworld in, season 3. But then he has been in some things that even before he was a star, like K-Pax with Kevin Spacey, that weird, stupid movie that nobody really wanted to see or wanted to make. So we go to Troy. Troy, who do you have? Who do you have playing the? See, there's the first glitch of the night. So who do you have playing the younger brother?
Well, see, I had kind of the same criteria I had for Connor. He had to be charismatic. He had to be a little rough and tumble. This one is a little different. I didn't need an Irish accent because Norman Reedus' accent ebbs and flows like the tide. So I said that doesn't really matter anymore. So I went with Tom Hardy.
Yes, Tom Hardy, the mumbled mouth intensity of Tom Hardy. I'm just trying to figure out what's he going to wear to cover his face, because The Dark Knight Rises, he's got his face covered. Dunkirk, he's got his face covered. Venom, he's got his face covered a little bit. He loves to cover that face up.
Mad Max too.
Yeah, he had that thing going on. So Tom Hardy and Colin Farrell, that's a tough 1-2 punch you got there.
I'm just saying, nobody's going to mess with that family.
You got Aaron Paul.
That's a good pick.
You got Tom Hardy. Well, I think we can all guess which this one's going to be. Casey Affleck. So, and the point goes to Tom Hardy. You can't Colin Farrell and Tom Hardy. That's a tough one too. That's a good brother combo.
Well done.
No mafia is messing with that family. All right, they now rule Boston. Forget about it.
So now we get to probably. His name is Delarocco, the most annoying person that's ever been committed to film. Played by the buddy of the director, which is probably why his name is the same as the characters, because he probably couldn't remember what his character was called, so they called him David Delarocco, which is his actual name. I really wanted to see him die in this movie, and he does not. Especially after that cat situation. So, Troy, who do you have playing the obnoxious idiot buddy?
Well, see, that's the thing. He had to be a little crazy, a little deranged, a little annoying. You know, somebody that you really wouldn't want to have on your side, but you kind of, he is going to end up okay because it's an action movie. So I went with Mel Gibson from the Lethal Weapon era.
Yeah. I even got the right picture for you. That's right.
Yeah, he's crazy. He's out there. Yeah, I wouldn't mess with him.
That's a good one.
Yeah, on screen, he's great.
Yeah,
on screen, he's great. Off screen, he's horrible. Yeah. In fact, Elizabeth Rapp is probably upset. She did not vote. She wanted to vote for him, but she can't because it's really bothered her. So Lethal Weapon, Braveheart, Mad Max, Maverick. He's really great. Unfortunately, just not a good person. So
yeah.
So who do you have to go up against Mel Gibson? Yeah, hopefully someone not as racist.
No, definitely was somebody less racist, but wanted kind of that same. The tough guy mentality, the kind of off the wall craziness a little bit, a little more on the tough guy side. I went with Rory Mccann.
Absolutely. Now, I didn't think of him as comedic until I remembered that he was in Hot Fuzz. He plays that guy with the goofy teeth. You just don't recognize him. But He is known as the Towering Scotsman. Apparently, he did a commercial that was big over in the UK as a Scotsman that's wandering around England eating oats or something. But he is the Hound from Game of Thrones, and he's been in a bunch of different stuff. I liked him in Game of Thrones. He was one of my favorite characters, the Hound. He could really kick butt. So we have Mel Gibson, Rory Mccann. I went with comedian Bill Burr, because he would be annoying like that, but he would be funnier.
Yeah.
The judges conferred, and Rory Mccann, I think, is an upset win on this particular one.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm surprised.
So, Tracy...
You know, the whole racist thing does kind of sway it in your favor.
Yeah, it does.
Thought of that.
So, with that pick, Tracy has got back with Troy. It's a 2-2 tie, so this game is close. Now we get to the Patriarch El Duce, played by the comedic genius that you wouldn't expect because he's not a violent person. And in fact, he said the only reason he took this job is because he's not a violent person and he wanted to just play with guns to see what it was like. And he is amazing, the amazing Billy Connolly, one of my favorite comedians of all time. So, Tracy, who do you have to replace the genius that is Billy Connolly?
Yeah, this was probably the hardest pick for me to recast. So I wanted somebody that could be a little bit older, play the Patriarch. You would believe that is in the crime family. I went with Brendan Gleason.
Ah, nice. Very well done. Known for playing Irish gangsters, but we also know him from the Harry Potter movies. He was in Braveheart, Edge of Tomorrow. And then every once in a while, you see him in like Paddington 2. And of course, they just announced that the In Bruges, if you've ever seen that, that's a great movie. They're going to make a sequel to that coming up with all the characters. They just announced that last week. You can find out on the Monday Morning Memory Wipe if you paid attention, but nobody watches it, so it's okay. All right. So let's get on to Troy. Troy, who do you have as the dad of the family?
Well, El Duce, he made the movie for me. He shows up at the very end. He's just amazing. And so I had to pick somebody that was that amazing that you could realistically say the prison guards are afraid of him. The mafia is afraid of him. Good guys, bad guys, everybody is afraid. And there's only one person that can do that while having 6 guns strapped to his chest. And that is Liam Neeson.
Absolutely. He's known for having a certain set of skills.
Yeah.
Acting skills, because this man can act. If you've seen Schindler's List, Rob Roy, he's amazing. The Gray, Krull, Batman Begins, all have been covered at matineeheroes.com. So if you head over to matineeheroes.com and search the archives, you can see Liam Neeson and hear Liam Neeson in all 5 of those episodes. So that's every show. It just seems like it's just every show. We've done so many. We're at 234. Every once in a while, someone hits the magic number where all of them are shown up. So Liam Neeson. We have Brendan Gleeson, Liam Neeson. I went with Pierce Brosnan. This is the only non-Bostonian. But if you see Pierce Brosnan with his beard, perfect. He'd be great. And he's Irish, so it would definitely fit. The judges decided Liam Neeson, who apparently is being talked about as the Leslie Nielsen replacement for the Naked Gun series.
Oh, wow.
Done by Seth MacFarlane.
Should be in everything.
Yeah. Well, next we get to bar owner Doc McGinty. Now, he is the bar owner with Tourette's, but many kids of the 80s may also recognize him as a Doc. He was from Fraggle Rock. Right. He was Doc on Fraggle Rock, so apparently he's a Doc on everything. So we're going to go with Troy. Troy, who do you have as the sweet-swearing old Irishman?
Okay, well, there was only one choice. He's old. He swears at people. He just yells incoherently. He gets everything wrong. One person can play this part, and it was written for him. It should have been Mike Myers as the dad in So I Married an Axe Murderer. Head, move now.
Yeah, he's basically Fat Bastard, but in dad form. So, yeah, because he's if you look at this, except for Wayne's World, he's always playing weird Irish, British characters because his parents were from England, and so he has all this family that are from Scotland and from England. So that's why he has all these accents, because he grew up listening to them all. All right, well, where are we here? Now we got back to
topping that, Tracy.
We got to go.
That's a good pick.
So Tracy, who do you have to beat a character playing a character?
So again, yeah, this is somebody I wanted to be able to do the humor, just be a little eccentric, a little weird. I was kind of thinking, based off of his performance as Mumbles and Dick Tracy, I went with Dustin Hoffman.
That is exactly why I put Dick Tracy at the very bottom, but I got to put it in there. But he's known for playing weird misfits, and if you slide Rain Man with Dick Tracy's character Mumbles, and then you throw in a couple of the Midnight Cowboys, Ratso Rizzo, you may have something there. So Troy is up by 1. We got Mike Myers, Dustin Hoffman. I went with Jay Leno, who rarely swears, which is why Doc McGinty's such a shock to see him swear. Also from Boston. And if Troy gets this, you've pretty much got this locked down. But Tracy comes in with an Oscar winner, and we're all tied up.
I'm robbed.
That's right.
Well, now we get to Detective David Greenlee, or as I would cast him, generic Boston cop number 1. Because he really is insignificant, and that's all I was looking for, is just give me a generic cop that Willam Dafoe can yell at and scream at and make get coffee. So, we'll start with Tracy. We're down to the wire. Who do you have playing generic cop David Greenlee?
Generic Boston cop number 1. I went with somebody that I personally don't really like as an actor. He's somebody that I wouldn't mind with my Jack Nicholson pick, just going off on him. He has played in the cop genre. I went with Andy Samberg.
Yeah, because he plays the kind of cop that we're thinking of, who's more capable in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. But
Right.
Yeah. But I could see that. I think you guys both went with some fairly good picks, because we're going to go to Troy right now. Troy, who do you have playing the generic cop number 1?
Well, this is the winner right here, because the only thing this man is known for in this movie is coming up with these elaborate, crazy hypotheses that are completely wrong. And if anyone is going to tell me a crazy, wild story and be entertaining, it's got to be Michael Pena.
Michael Pena, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Known for explaining things in detail. That's right. As he did in the Ant-Man.
He's going to make that part even better.
But he was in the horrible Fantasy Island and Chips, so I don't really know what we're going to do there. So we're down to a tie here. So
I like that pick.
We got Andy Samberg. We got Michael Pena. I chose Dennis Leary from Boston. So that means, with no one getting the secret selection, we will definitely have a winner tonight.
Ooh.
So no ties tonight.
Vapus.
Yeah. So who did the judges pick? We'll find out in a second. But I want to remind everybody that, once again, we are part of the podcaster program at Comic Palooza. We will be there July 17th through the 18th for Comic Palooza, and Cast Off is coming with me. That's right. We're not doing just one show. We're doing 2 shows on July 18th at 3:30 as we celebrate the appearances of Ming-Na Wen, Carl Weathers, Katie Sackhoff, and Giancarlo Esposito by recasting The Mandalorian. And for our doubleheader, we'll keep with the Star Wars spin-off theme and recast Rogue One. Oh, this has got music to it. That's why. Oh, all right. Yeah. We gotta. I was wondering what happened to that slide. So that is going to be, head over to comicpalooza.com and get your tickets today. Once again, July 17th through 18th. It's coming down the thing. I'm so excited. It's the first one. And then I've already been told there's a really good chance that Cast Off is coming to Fan X. So
yes.
We'll have to see if the James Owen, Tracy Mangum Muppet recast happens or not. I have to find out what's going on there. But let's get back to this, because we have a family to either bring together or destroy.
I love you either way, buddy.
I will break you. No mercy.
The Michael Pena pick is really good.
So we have Andy Samberg, we have Michael Pena, and the judges decided that Tracy is right. Michael Pena is a really good pick, and Troy is our winner. So Troy,
well done, sir.
Well done.
Victory is mine.
So as today's winner, you get our final thought. You can say anything you want that's not profane, but here's your chance to promote something, to say something nice, to say something evil, whatever you want. So what is today's final thought?
Today's final thought is I came here for two reasons: to flaunt the fact that I still have hair and to take Tracy down a notch, and I achieved both in one evening. I can't think of a better way to do it. And Tracy, I love you, but you can't pick worse crap.
That's not true. That is not. He didn't. He's like he acts like it's a blowout. He acts like he won 7-0.
Hey, as the younger brother, a win is a blowout. All right, I will take anything.
Nah, I'm a younger brother. I don't have to worry about blowouts. I know I can.
He's undefeated now.
Well, yeah.
I'm going to go full Michael Jordan and just retire now. Going to go play some baseball.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah.
Well, while you guys
I've been better.
patch things up, we have next week. We do have a show, even though it's the day after the 4th of July. The 5th of July. Come back next week as newcomer Sam Matos, I hope I'm saying his name correctly, and longtime podcast favorite Elizabeth Rapp combine Black Widow and the 4th of July to recast Marvel's Captain America: The First Avenger.
Ooh.
Because at the beginning of the week, we start with the Marvel, with Captain America's 4th of July, his birthday, Captain America's birthday. Steve Rogers was born on July 4th. And we end with the Black Widow, which I know several people have seen. Tracy, did you go to the screening last night?
I'm not on that list. We had a representative change.
I know. All right.
So we're working on that.
Yeah, I got screwed out of it too. As soon as I moved, I was off the list. But
Val gave it a B.
I heard good things.
Yeah, I've heard pretty good things.
So if you want to be on the show, you can do what Troy did and have his brother email me and say, "Get my brother on."
I'm all about riding those coattails.
Yeah, that's right.
Riding that coattail right to victory lane.
I opened the door for him and he slammed the door in my face.
Yeah.
But like Sam Matos,
created your own monster.
well, like Sam Matos next week, he applied online. He went to matineeheroes.com/castoff/application, or you can just email me, mhcastoff@gmail.com. Also, you can follow us at the Castoff Show on Twitter, the Facebook group Matinee Heroes, matineeheroes.com /castoff on YouTube. Believe me, we need the YouTube viewers so I can get a custom URL. Please, folks, please. And, of course, twitch.tv, Matinee Heroes. Special thanks to Judges Brendan Agnew, who will be on the show in about 2 weeks. He'll be on the podcast in about 2 weeks talking Arrival. And Elizabeth Rapp, who's doing double duty. She's going to be on The Nice Guys this Saturday. And as we just saw, she's going to be recasting Captain America. So Elizabeth's going to have a full, brand new 4th of July week to go crazy on. And if you love Elizabeth like we do, she did a great job on the Nice Guys, one of Alan's favorite movies. Well, on behalf of Tracy Mangum and our winner, Troy Mangum, and the daggum Mangum family, I'm Craig Price. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next week.